This is IGN. You can go back in time, but you can't go back in time, you know? This is your IGN review of Scott Pilgrim EX by Will Borger. Scott Pilgrim EX is a game about the past. It's a beat-em-up revival based on a 2010 video game adaptation which released alongside the film of the same name that year of a graphic novel which itself ran from 2004 to 2010. Put simply, Scott Pilgrim as a series is now old enough to drink, and it's one that was already steeped in both nostalgia and dealing with the passage of time. It's fitting, then, that Scott Pilgrim EX also deals with time travel while being a damn good modern beat-em-up in the midst of the genre's own resurrection. The story here is pretty simple. The setting is Toronto 20X. Scott's band Sex Bob-omb is practicing for their latest show when Metal Scott, who looks like he stepped out of Mega Man X, band naps Sex Bob-omb and their instruments, except for Scott naturally. Major bummer, dude. Your job is to save the band, recover their instruments, make it to the big show on time, and maybe save the city in the process. To do so, you'll have to go through 3 gangs that have taken over the city: the vegans, the robots, and the demons, traverse time and space, and take down the mysterious forces manipulating all of this from the shadows. It's standard beat-em-up stuff, but it does lead to some extremely funny conversations in which your co-op partner, in complete seriousness, will ask, "Do you want to fight the vegans?" The answer, by the way, is always yes. What makes the conceit interesting is the playable cast developer Tribute Games has assembled here. You've got Scott and Ramona, of course, but you're also joined by former villains like Robot One, as well as several of the evil X's, specifically Roxy, Matthew, Lucas, and Gideon. What's cool is how different everyone plays. The whole gang has light and heavy attack strings. The former excels in combos, while the latter is great for stunning vegans, robots, and demons alike. But they've also got several metered and unmetered special attacks that really separate them, whether that's Gideon's spinning sword parry, Ramona's subspace sucker punch, or Robot's grenades. Scott Pilgrim EX is one of the few beat-em-ups that lets you block attacks, and there are several advanced techniques like quick-stepping, several kinds of wake-ups, and using a metered super to avoid an attack, which doesn't cost your gut points as it normally would. You've also got equipable assist attacks, which also cost gut points, that can be as simple as calling a couple guys in to rock out and restore your health, breaking out Ramona's cat Gideon who flies around the screen and cause problems, or, my favorite, bringing out Sex Bob-omb superfan young Neil to stampede across the screen. Many a boss has met their demise at the hands of young Neil, let me tell ya. The result is a pretty complex beat-em-up that rewards you for messing around with its systems. Is it as deep as something like Streets of Rage 4? No, but there's a lot here and all of it feels good. This is a sequel to a game that was released 16 years ago. The developer, ironically named Tribute Games, is probably best known for making the Turtles in Time sequel everyone always wanted and never got. Scott Pilgrim EX doesn't directly grapple with a lot of this. It's mostly small moments and asides, but in the last 16 years, the series has transformed from something that references older art into older art that is referenced. It must be a strange thing to realize that what you made is emblematic of a moment in time and how that moment is passed. To go from the new kid on the block riffing on the classics to the subject of your own retro revival. It's something I thought about often during my time with Scott Pilgrim EX, and while it doesn't go out of its way to draw attention to this concept, it's hard to argue that it isn't grappling with it, at least a little, and that makes it more interesting. Scott Pilgrim EX is the latest in a long line of retro revivals from Tribute Games, and like all of its previous works, the developer has done an admirable job of producing a beat-em-up that builds on its predecessor, while adding much appreciated gameplay depth and plenty of replayability. I love EX's RPG systems, simple as they are, its world, and how there is always another interesting character to try when I get bored. But it's also a game that grapples with the passage of time, even if it perhaps doesn't mean to. The modern beat-em-up exists because of the games that came before, but they were often far more limited. With the passage of time, we've returned to those ideas and refined them. Like Scott Pilgrim itself, those games have gone from something that was new to something that is now referenced. Nostalgia is a powerful drug, but a bittersweet one, and Scott Pilgrim EX understands that. You can go back in time, but you can't go back to the way things were. All that's left is to appreciate where you've been and enjoy what's here now. And you know what? What's here is pretty fun. Scott Pilgrim EX's IGN score? 8 out of 10. Thanks for listening to IGN. My name is Tony Jackson, and for the latest Scott Pilgrim EX updates and to read the full review, visit us at IGN.com.
Spoken Layer.